Welcome to the Nothing Is Over podcast, Mr. Michael McConville. Am I saying that right, Michael?
Ah, you're saying that right.
What do I call you, Mick?
Just Mick, mate. Mick's fine. Mick or Michael, whatever.
Ex-combat sports fighter, MMA. Been training MMA since you were 15 years old.
Aye, 15, mate, aye.
A couple of boxing matches, stuff like that. But now owner. Don't wait a minute. Fucking hold on. I'm introducing you, mate. Wait a minute. Right. Now owner and host of the Mic'd Up podcast.
That's right, mate.
Yes.
That's right.
What is the Mic'd Up podcast? Tell the audience, give us the elevator pitch, if you will, of the Mic'd Up podcast for the lovely people at home. Go for it.
Is basically fight fans, what I like to call it, is their cage side seat to the stories. It's basically a platform for combat sports athletes coming up through the ranks in Scotland. It's for fighters who are looking to make a name for themselves, or maybe they've already established themselves on the international scene, or maybe it's for like people fighting on the domestic scene, looking to get their name out of there. That's one thing I did always notice was the combat sports. You don't really get to hear from a lot of these guys if they're only fighting on the domestic scene. You don't really get to see a lot of clips on TikTok and really let them go viral until they climb the ranks a bit. And what I'm wanting to do is get these guys out there before that, because I feel like everybody just works as hard as, I feel like all fighters just work very hard, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's just very important that these guys get their story out there.
You'll get the exposure they deserve, innit?
Aye, literally, mate. I think every fighter deserves exposure, because with exposure comes opportunities.
Real stories by real savages, as you put it yourself.
That's it, mate. Aye, that's whether it's a fighter, a coach, strength conditioning coaches, anybody at all. As I say, mate, for now it's dominantly combat sports focused, but in the future, obviously it will branch off. But it was inspired by combat sports, so that's what it's strictly going to be for now.
I like that you've got a plan to go ahead. We'll get into that kind of the podcast stuff, because that's mainly what I want to talk to you about here anyway, because I don't want you to burn a lot of your own material, which is going to be mostly MMA, combat sports and fighting and stuff like that, because I want to thank you right away, because I don't think you've actually made it as a podcaster until you've had another podcaster on your podcast talking about fucking podcasting. Right? So mate, I want to kind of ask your preparation and where it came about and how you put your first episode together, because from my side of it, we follow probably 100, 200 of the same people on Instagram.
Yep.
So as soon as Mic'd Up podcast appeared on my feed, I seen everything appearing sort of thing. So obviously I liked it, shared some stuff, whatever it was, right?
Appreciate you, mate.
No, I don't know. Listen, just hold on a minute, right? I'm doing visiting my close personal friend, Jamie McKenzie, British MMA legend and patron saint of our show is Jamie McKenzie. And mate, at this time in life, I was very fucking frustrated with my show. All these guests I had, they were falling out. And I had a guest lined up to be on my show that I had no right getting on my show, but I fucking bumped them for somebody else, and then they fell through. I was super fucking frustrated, right? So I was telling Jamie, I says, and then there's, who the fuck is this guy who's popped up on my feed? He's got a podcast. Look at this fucking studio. He's got the Mr. Miyagi wall behind him and everything. I was like, I said, Jamie, he's got fucking merch. He's got merch. Show us it.
Oh, it's just, mate,
is that a dunk?
Mate, this is probably the fifth sample that I've got. I started with the jumpers. It was basically, mate, it wasn't even merch to begin with. So basically what that came through was, I was supposed to shoot a giveaway video, right, to kind of help get the channel out there. And basically what it was is I thought to myself, I reached out to a couple of the guys that I know, and basically the plan is, and it still is, but it's just not went ahead yet. The plan is to do a giveaway, combat sports focus. So I can basically tell you here, the main prize was the signed Conor McGregor glove. Right?
Yes, fantastic prize. Yep.
I reached out to the guys that obviously we've got the sponsors of the podcast, the Fight Factory. They do their training camp every Monday and Wednesday in the Muscle Lab gym just along in Paisley, right? Mm-hmm. So they do that. So he basically hooked me up with the owner of that, and he says he's basically willing to let you come in and shoot the video in his boxing ring, basically. So you've got like the right seed and all that for it. So I was like, right, that's great. I'll throw in a membership for the the Muscle Lab gym, and then the Fight Factory are also going to throw in a few free like VIP tickets as well.
Nice one.
So all this kind of started coming together, and I was thinking to myself, what should I wear for this? And then I'm thinking to myself, right, I'm going to have to I'm probably going to have to make it look a wee bit better. So I had a design straight away, and I had obviously this the mascot of the podcast is my wee dog. He's lying down there. It's wee Nev, right? So designed the jumpers, got them sent out, but mate, the jumpers took forever. It was 2-3 weeks. It had passed. They get stuck in Germany for ages. I'm saying jumpers. It was one jumper, right? For me to wear.
I love this.
That jumper gets stuck in Germany for ages, and then before I knew it, the McGregor fight had came, and we know how that went.
Oh, so mate, I know.
So I don't know if you've seen my poll, but that's why I done the poll. If you want it or do you not want it? Obviously, he's a bit of a controversial guy.
It doesn't matter. It's still a name. It's the biggest name in that sport, kind of. Really,
I felt like I was hoping. I was like, right, once the McGregor fight happens, hopefully, because I thought he was going to win. Honestly, I thought he was going to win, and I thought it would have been right up. And then obviously the fight didn't even really get to happen. So in my eyes, it felt like I'd bought a stock and it had plummeted.
I don't know, still get the same coverage, and if he'd have won, though, he still get the same media coverage. He's never going to be out of the media cycle. So the fact that you've got a signed Conor McGregor glove is always going to have some cachet there. You know, I would never fucking think it wouldn't.
That's where the merch came from. So I got that, and I thought they look all right, and then. I just also had issues with the delivery and the quality and that, so I went to another person, and they made this, but this is dead dark. Like you probably can't even see that.
No, it comes up good. I can see the wee definition of Doug.
So it's the merch is kind of a work in progress. You know, I'm actually speaking to Brandify now.
Really?
They reached out and they says that they do that, so I'm going to go and see them for the merch and that. But the merch is kind of that's kind of my problem, mate. I'm kind of focusing on all these different things, and probably what I should be doing is just focusing on the podcast.
Right, thank you. Stop there, right. So I'm doing on the boat, visiting my pal Jamie, and I'm bitching and moaning, saying, he's got fucking merch, Jamie. He's not even got an episode. He's not even got a fucking episode, Jamie. I said, I can see 50 episodes deep, and I've not got merch. And he goes like, says, you're jealous. I said, I'm not fucking jealous. I was jealous. I was, because I was, no, because this is the thing. I realised the gulf in what I'm doing because our shows, even though there'll be some kind of cross-pollination, as they would call it, our shows are very different. Mine's is a very old-fashioned show. I did a podcast 10 fucking years ago, just in the bubble, right? And it was moderately successful. And so I still have a kind of framework of that kind of show of being an audio show. I've only just moved to video, and it's only just for like guests coming on. And I just have an idea of building a show up and then later on offering them something. Because I was saying to Jamie, you need a fucking audience before you can actually sell them anything. I was like, what is he selling them? It was a fucking cool jumper. I never slagged any of the merch. I wasn't slagging you either. I was frustrated with my show, and I was thinking, and I couldn't understand it. But that is the way to do it. You have to, because I was such a hypocrite, mate. My first podcast that we did, we had we started it in a professional recording studio. We sounded like Joe Rogan for day one. We had no right to fucking sound that good. But that's what attracted people to your show, because they sound legit. So they must 100%. Be legit. You've got merch. He looks legit. He must be legit. Let's listen to the show. But then, mate, of course I turned around, because you dropped your first episode and it was a fucking banger an episode.
Did you like it?
Oh mate, it was my pal Tam. He was fucking phenomenal. Mate, you were brilliant. It was a fucking fantastic episode. It was fantastic. I know you were, because this is what I want to ask you. What was your prep? Because here's something I want to ask you today, right? Because I set this whole thing up as a desk, because I try and copy. This show is my version of 90s late night American talk shows like David Letterman, right? So I like a desk, and I like a way of like a background thing, and I like my
background stuff, by the way, mate.
It just gives somebody more interesting to see than the fucking coupon. But I've got my notes in front of us, right? And I noticed you, because you had your notes at the side of you, and you had to keep glancing, and you were
a disaster.
And I was thinking to myself, see when you did the wee intro bit, when you've got the desk in front of you with the fucking Miyagi wall behind you, that looks fantastic. I think see a desk and cards. I think a lot of podcasts try and stray away from that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I think you want to be able to focus when you're writing the get, rather than kind of like turning. And so this is what I want to talk to you about, your prep on your podcast. I've spoken enough. On you go, mate.
Aye. Right, so the prep for the podcast, mate, first of all, I want to touch on that Mr. Miyagi, because you probably noticed I was wearing two complete different... I was wearing... So... We use I always keep saying we, mate. It's only me that's doing this, right?
It's me too. I'll say we too. It's just me, mate. But you need to do that. We've got a team.
You've got a team.
It's just me, no. We. I say fucking nothing pod towers. It's my fucking spare room.
So basically, I used the green room studios in the town, and I didn't know how long to go. Now I thought talking to somebody was going to be. I thought it seemed quite daunting, to be honest. So I thought, right, an hour and a half, because it starts for the minute you walk in the door. So I got there at I told Tam and Barry to be there for roughly about 20 minutes in. So I had around 10 minutes to sit them doing and all that. And I went in, and my plan was I was wanting to shoot that intro bit for the Fight Factory before that episode, but I had never even sat in front of a camera in my life. So I've went in and I've came in. And mate, it's up the very top of a building, the town, George Square, and it's melting, and it was all dead and closed, and it was quite intimidating. So I've went in, this producer guy who I've never met in my life, I've sat down, and I've said to him, I was right, I need to shoot a quick video for my sponsor, and I've sat down, and he's like, right, go, and I'm like, get it, and then I'm stuttering and all that, and then I'm like, fuck, and then because I know I'm on the clock, I'm like, mate, just leave it, I'll need to do it later. And then Barry and Tam text me saying, right, that's us downstairs. So I actually had to go back and shoot that.
And redo it again.
3 days later.
Mate, you done great, especially saying that you don't like being in front of camera. You done great.
Mate, see, the funny thing was, when I went back, I done it first take, right? But when I done it first take, there was workies working in the building next door, and the producer was like, mate, you're going to have to do that again. So then after that, it was like the one that I done that I put out, I think that was maybe 5th try. But I feel like the first one I done was the best, but the one that was the one I done at the 5th time, that wasn't the best one. But it is a work in progress. But the prep for it was basically for Tam, mate, it was a dead easy to prepare for, but he's been on the scene a long time. He's been fighting at the top. You know yourself, mate. He's been fighting at the top.
Well, here's the thing, right? This is why I really, really want to talk to you about this, because my prep for Tam is way different for your prep for Tam, because you hosted a different show.
Right.
Than I did with it, because Tam was a two-parter on my show, because we spoke so long about wrestling that I made that his own show, right? And because I've known Tam for so long, it was a wee bit more kind of like touching on big milestones, but trying to have wee funnier kind of stories, whereas yours was trying to get to the kind of the fight career and stuff like that, and more in depth about the training, because you understand that as a martial artist yourself, so you've got a different viewpoint to interview him for. So did your research come for Tam with just for the fight that you done? Did you watch his fights and all that kind of thing?
I'd already heard things, because me and Tam are for the same area. I'm probably staying near you, mate. I'm Yoker way.
Knightswood,
right? Aye, Knightswood way. Aye, I'm just next to the flyover, so So my preparation for Tam was basically I'd heard things about him like through the grapevine about him getting poked for the crowd. I wanted to know about that, because that's one thing I always heard, and I'm like, did he get poked? Like, I didn't understand it. What I thought was, I always seen it was poked for the crowd during, or like for his first fight or something. What I thought would maybe happened was he'd been making the walk, and then something had maybe kicked off, and he's ended up in the crowd, and then they'll pull him out and went. That's what I thought had happened. But that obviously wasn't what happened at all. He was actually in attendance, and he's been pulled for the crowd. So that was an amazing story. But I touched on all these bullet points, and a lot of the stuff that I found out about Tam was on his Instagram. I just went down and I'd done Thailand trips where he trained, milestones like the European title, the world title. I seen he'd won the WBC national title back in 2014. I knew he had quite a long layoff at COVID, just like everybody did. Don't get me wrong, I thought his layoff was for... I kind of get caught in the headlights a wee bit at that point, because I was studying the layoff a lot for him. So my podcast for him was, I'm going to get him to touch on this. And then when I bring up the layoff, I thought he had a layoff for different reasons. I didn't know it was because of COVID he took the layoff. I thought he was having mental health problems. I thought he maybe had, obviously I know he's had a couple of things happen in his personal life, so I thought that's what caused the layoff. But see in the on the episode, you'll notice I said to him, is it just purely because of COVID you took your layoff? And when he says I was kind of like, fuck, that's like 20 minutes worth of talking that I'm going to have to fill, because I was expecting him to be able to elaborate on the layoff, because I thought I thought it was optional. So a lot of my questions with him were, okay, there's a lot of questions that didn't get answered. That's why when he says, it was because of COVID, I'm up with a laptop done, because
you just fucked a whole line of questioning now for me,
it's about 25 minutes of the conversation that I had planned has obsolete. Do you know
How
what
do
I mean?
you adjust for that on the fly on your first episode?
I just had to get him to elaborate, because mate, I noticed Tam was brilliant.
Mate, it was the perfect first guest for you to get to launch your show, because of how personable he is and how funny the stories can be, and he can fill a gap. Like when something fucks up like that, you just get him to talk a wee bit, and you can kind of.
You can get him to wander off, and you can just bring a pet in, mate. That's what I'm saying. He made it so easy, mate. The post that I put up when we wrapped the first episode up, mate, it came from the heart, honestly, because he made that so easy for me. And honestly, I feel like people are saying, "Oh, your first episode was brilliant," but I don't know if it would have went that well, if it was with anybody else, because he made it so good. I could you just felt you could talk to him about it, and there wasn't awkwardness, there wasn't nothing. And mate, see the mad thing is, I feel like I've not even scratched the surface with him yet.
No, you did, but honestly, he's that kind of guy though. He's got a fucking story for something else, and
that's it, mate. He's telling me about he's fought in Dublin, and he's got stories for that, and he's got all these mad stories. I mean, he's fought everybody, man. And there's definitely a part 2 somewhere down the line. But mate, the first episode with Tam was, as I says, mate, it was everything I thought it would be in there.
Honestly, did you know he was going to come with Barry, with somebody else as well?
I know Barry. So Barry's a close family pal. So my stepmom is really, really close to Barry. So I know Barry outside of that.
So that's comforting for you then, knowing then, because you kind of know and a bit of Tam, but then you know Barry. So that makes your first episode easy.
I bring a mate with me, and I says, of course you can. And he told me it was Barry that was coming. I went, even better. Do you know what I mean? It was good, mate. We got speaking away to them before the cameras started rolling. We got a good talk after the cameras after we'd finished up, mate. It was brilliant, because as I was saying to you, I think we shot the episode for I think it maybe went just over an hour, but mate, the hour felt like 10 minutes.
It does. Honestly, it fucking flies.
And I was like, we had the wee producer guy going, and I'm like, mate, hold on a minute, I'm trying to finish up here.
There's so much to get to and stuff, I know.
Mate, I feel like I could have sat down with him for 3 years, honestly.
See the thing you did at the very end, which was like the asking the questions that you did for the social media. How important did you think that was in the episode?
Trial and error, mate. Trial and error. It was to fill up again. It was to try and fill up a wee bit of time, and it was just trial. I don't know if I would do that with everybody.
I don't know, because I think that's really smart, because that's something I've never done. But I did.
Engagement into it.
That's it, because what you're doing is you're tying your episode, because you're primarily a video podcast anyway, right? That's how you're starting, and you're tying that now to the social media army. So if you keep that tied to that and keep it engaged in that way, I think that's really smart. That's a really smart thing to do. But I don't know about relying on people for real questions all the time. You need to put in some fucking ringers in there. You need to. Oh no, I want to trust the cunts out there, man.
No, mate, definitely, because that's what I noticed with mate, my podcast was kind of it took half a wee bit, but it wasn't until I done the questionnaire. I think it was a week tomorrow. I think it was last Friday I done it, and it was basically asking people, who do you want on? And mate, I was actually sitting watching Scarface. My pals, right? I got my pals going to watch Scarface, and I was sitting, and I'd switched for the Mick Up to my personal account, and then I've went back into the Mick Up account, and I'd seen all these replies, and I'm like, fuck it. And the next thing you know, and then I'm like, right, I'm going to just reshare. I'll reshare this one, and basically I thought the best way to do was the names that get put in, share it into my story, and then just tag the suggestion, and then see what comes.
If somebody replies, aye.
I had a lot of people reply. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean they're definitely up for coming on, but just the engagement was good. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is a massive thing, is engagement.
So I think you're smart with that. Absolutely. Right. So what was the post-production on the episode then? What did you get? Do you just get the raw video files and the audio, and then you put it all together yourself? Because I know you do the social media element yourself, but do you do the actual episode as well?
So I think they've got the on-site producer, and also you've got the I think it's a 4-camera studio. We only needed 3, obviously. And I think the guy just, Matt, he sits and makes sure that when I'm speaking, cameras on me. When Tam's speaking, it's on him. And make sure the camera is panning to everybody that it's supposed to be panning to. And then after that, it's optional where you can ask him to add in, mate, listen to this, by the way. You can add in, I think it's like 5 or 6 clips that you can add in for like TikTok and all that. Mate, it's £100
just
for him to make clips for you. So I was like, I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
and I'm
myself.
this is going to cost me £250 an episode. So I went and got a laptop and all that to get all that done. But I knew I wasn't going to learn it straight away because I thought it was harder than it was. And then I've paid that to begin with. I've looked at their clips, but mate, do you want to know what they say? I thought they went through it and they picked, like, they watched your episode through and thought, right, that'll be a clip, that'll be a clip. It's no. You need to pick timestamps.
Oh, and you did to them? Do yourself then?
You pick timestamps and then they go through and then I'm probably hanging with my studio here a wee bit, right? So
no.
Listen,
that's the thing that they offer. A lot of people that suits them. But
so you pick the timestamp and then all the days make it for you. And I'm like, I've got that whole episode on my laptop, and then that's when I went on and then I started making all my own clips.
Aye.
So when I started making all my own clips, mate, literally all you're doing is clipping it and then getting it's so easy. And I'm like, I've just saved myself £100. Like, you know what I mean?
So yourself, aye.
A few of the clips were me, a few of the clips were the Green Room Studios, and the post-production was just dead easy. Don't get me wrong, I listened to the episode back a couple of times, and then whenever I was seeing clips it and hearing them, I'm fucking sick of the noise of my own voice, man.
Mate, listen, as a podcaster, I'm going to tell you, get used to your. I fucking hate the sound of my own voice because you need to listen to yourself as you're recording it because you're hearing it coming through. You're listening to yourself when you listen back after it's done. You do an edit, you listen through, and then you need to listen through when you post the fucking thing to make sure. I always listen. Here's a wee tip for you as well, by the way. It might help you. It helps me a lot at the beginning. Is as soon as I post an episode, I put it in the car and play it on the speaker just to see what it sounds like somebody else would play it in the real world to get the level right and stuff like that. So then you need to hear your voice again. It is fucking brutal, I know, but you need to get used to it, bro. You need to get used to it.
Aye, mate, I've listened to a few of your episodes, mate. I like your stuff you're doing, man.
Oh, thank you. Really listen, your clip with Tam and the Ring Girls, see with the fucking, that should have get so much more, man. That should have get so much fucking more. Well, especially since Dana White came out with that clip that did go viral with fucking Wissercoop and Nina Drama talking about how the UK wouldn't let them have ring girls unless they had ring boys, you know, the ring card girls.
I don't even know if that's true.
Nah, I think it was only true in that venue in Ireland. I think they were. It was only that one place and he missed whatever the fuck it was. But because of that, I thought, right, should that no push mix clip into the algorithm? Because that's literally what you're talking about there. Is literally you see Tam in fucking pants as a ring card boy. And Dana White's talking about that, which has went super viral. And mate, that clip should have got so much more.
No, mate, it didn't do much. I think the one that done really well with Tam was the one with his mum, obviously. That should have done well. Yep. And I'm not going to lie, I think that should have done...
They all should have done way better, mate. Aye, way better.
That should have been off. The one with him being pulled for the crowd, I think that done quite well. But again, I feel like all the clips with Tam done well, but they shouldn't have done as well as they should, which is obviously fine. I don't post it for.
But this is the thing, though, that fucking frustrates me. That I'm your canary doing this coal mine, right? And I'm going to tell you this because you're going to get chunks of stuff that's so interesting that you want to put on social media, and you get a fucking 3-4 minute clip, like a brilliant story or whatever, mate, you'll get like 100 views or something like that, and some bird will like fucking flash her arse or something like that and lip sync to some pish song and get like 100,000 likes. It's just the world that we live in. Just fucking deal with it. Just put out the content that you're happy with. That's what I do. I put out the stuff, like all the clips, I make them all myself as well, make me laugh, make me fucking think that's interesting. Somebody might listen to that and go, oh, I might actually listen to the full, because all you're trying to do is you're trying to draw people for the social media onto where you get your podcast. And you're on Spotify, you've got the video podcast on Spotify, video and audio on there. You're on YouTube. What about Apple? You on Apple?
Mate, I didn't even think of the Apple one. That Spotify was a nightmare to set up.
Aye, it's not the easiest.
That was a headache. You had to go through the Spotify creators and all that, and then I'd made a whole new Spotify account, and then thinking that I could post my podcast through that when it's not. Like, you just make a podcast on Spotify, and then like I thought like now you can make your like you've probably got a Spotify account, you listen to music on, I've got my Spotify account. I thought I had to make a mic'd up Spotify account, and it's not the case. You just go into the creators, you make a podcast, and then the podcast is the podcast, you know what I mean? And you just manage it through creators. So I've got a mic'd up Spotify sitting there doing nothing.
Did nothing.
So it was aye, so but it's all sky on the air. I'm not on Apple yet, but that's definitely on the radar.
They're really good. I do well on Apple when downloads. They don't give you a lot of analytics right enough, but it's good for the reach sort of thing. But again, it's just audio only, and that's a more old school thing. As I was always concerned about being on Apple more than anything. But I think, Spotify is like something like the Leathered podcast. You watch the Leathered?
Podcast.
I love that.
Mate, I went to see it.
Did you see the live one?
Aye, I went to the live show. The live show was brilliant.
Aye, they were the first people that I noticed that actually was their video on Spotify as well, and you see how they kind of do their social media and stuff like that.
Brilliant, mate.
It's fantastic.
Spot on. Aye, mate, they're good.
So what were some of the podcasts that made you want to get into it? Because as we said at the beginning, you're an ex-fighter, career cut short. You want to talk a wee bit about that?
Don't get me wrong, mate. It wasn't much a career I had. It was like compared to half of these. I only had three fights in the trot, mate, total. I had two MMA fights and a boxing fight. So it was nothing. I'd been training for a while since I'd been 15, and then at a gym, my first ever gym was B Unit. But we're kind of going off topic here. My first first podcast I listened to was obviously the Joe Rogan podcast, and then obviously you've noticed, mate, most UFC fighters now have got a podcast. You've got Tim Welch, Sean O'Malley.
I love that one. That's great. I watched that a lot.
He's got a good one. I like Dominic Cruz's one.
His is great. His clips are always brilliant. I love fucking crazy autistic people. He's the best, man.
Did you watch his one with Uriah Faber? I feel like, do you want to know what I've noticed for his, right? I was watching the one with Uriah Faber, and I was watching the one with TJ Dillashaw, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's just trauma dumped on them.
He's just
trauma dumping. And he's like, and he's you might notice when I fought you, I done this and I done that, and they're just sitting like, Faber's like, he needed this.
That's so true, man.
All them Joe Rogan podcast is good because, mate, I used to work away a lot, driving down to. I used to have to drive from here to Wales sometimes, and then I'd work my way through Wales back down to Glasgow and stop everywhere into the UK. So I would have a lot of free time to listen. So it would be Joe Rogan podcast. If there was an episode of Leather, that was me. Leather podcast, Joe Rogan, and then any other ones combat sports related. Really, I don't really listen to any other type of a podcast. Don't get me wrong. I don't listen to loads of podcasts, but it's either Joe Rogan, Leathered, or something down that line.
Was there any episode where you were listening to it and you thought, I'm going to fucking do that? What was the impetus behind actually wanting to do it yourself?
The emphasis behind me actually wanting to do it myself was the Leather podcast. I used to sit and watch it, and I used to sit and think I would love to go on that. And I probably didn't have much to speak about, but I used to sit and think I would love to go on that because I actually know a lot of people who have been on it. There's a lot of people that come from like my hometown who have made it really well far in fighting. Nico Carrillo being one of them. Jay McFarlane, he's one of them.
I'm going to train with him on Tuesday.
Pals, mate, Jay's fucking brilliant, mate. Jay's one of my really good pals. I really like Jay, so I do. He's helped me through a lot. Dead supportive with the podcast. With that last boxing fight I done, he helped me.
Amazing.
Through that with advice. He was helping me cut weight for the MMA fights and everything. He's brilliant. So
is that right? Aye.
And you'll get a good session with him, so you will.
Aye, they're doing that on Tuesday. Is it La Pereira boxing gym he does, isn't it? And then he started to do the one kind of like training stuff like after he was forced to retire because fucking eye injury.
Same injury I've got.
The very same as you. What happened?
The exact same. But only he chose to fight through it.
But a fucking maniac, by the way, an absolute. That's a savage right there, by the way. You need to get him on. He has to come on your show.
Jay's scheduled for the Halloween episode.
Oh, is that right? Really? Are you breaking news here on this show? I would love to have him on my show, but he's way more suited for your show. I think he's way more suited for yours.
Why don't you come on with him?
Oh, that would be fun, man. Aye.
Why don't you come on with Jay?
For Halloween, that gives enough time to be training enough so that he could know his well enough.
Why don't you come on?
Oh, man, pop on, aye. Mate, that'd be fucking phenomenal. I'd love that. That'd be brilliant. We could dress up. We should dress up as something. Aye.
Me and Jay, mate, will jump on.
That's phenomenal, mate. Brilliant. So what is the plan for the Mic'd Up podcast? Because you've got episode 2. Have you filmed that yet?
Next weekend.
Next weekend?
Aye, we're shooting with Jimmy McCorry and Ryan Turner for the Fight Factory. We're shooting that next Saturday.
Bare knuckle fighter?
Turner on that. Aye, bare knuckle fighter. Jimmy McCorry, mate, he's a fan favourite. He's had 2 bare knuckle fights. His first fight was in December last year, and then he won Fight of the Night, Fight of the Year. Absolutely smashed it. Mate, it was a mad one as well, because I actually know Jimmy. We're related kind of through so basically his grand's my godmother.
Right.
So I've seen him at family parties and stuff like that. And I went to watch Jay, and that was the night where Jay's fight got cancelled, like a couple of fights before.
Aye, I remember that.
So I'm sitting, and I had actually been smoking a bit of weed right before this, because this was no.
We'll fucking bleep that. We'll bleep that.
Okay, it was right. So I had been indulging. Because this was I was just recovering from eye surgeries,
right.
And basically, I had a eye surgery that failed. So I had a failed eye surgery. I was half blind in my left eye. I had no peripheral vision, no nothing. And then I got an eye surgery. They got me back 3 weeks later and told me that has not worked. You're going to have to come in for another one.
What was the cause of it initially? The problem? What happened?
So it was repeated. They told me that it was repeated blunt trauma to my eyes, just through time. So sparring. Just basically take me pretty blows to the face, and basically what happened was that it created it was a pinhole-sized tear in my retina, so when you get a retinal tear, your eyeball, that's for a vitreous gel, they call it.
Right.
And basically what happened was the pinhole-sized tear, it allowed the vitreous gel to seep through into my retina.
And then it blinded it?
And they explained it as in, it's like piercing a hole in wallpaper and then getting a cup of water, right, and pouring it down the wallpaper, and it all just starts peeling down, and then your retina's at the wallpaper and it starts peeling. Yeah. So because my tear was so small, they says mine was progressing like 1% every 3 days or something. So I had actually noticed that no long after because I was supposed to fight on the Fight Factory. Jay was saying to me about getting a fight on the Fight Factory after the QFC white collar fight that I done, and then I was out playing football. It was October kind of time, and I noticed that I'm not amazing at football, right? But I was getting the ball passed to me, and it was like people were coming to the left of me and just taking the ball away from me, and I couldn't see, and my balance was off.
Holy shit, man!
So mate, my pal was like to me, mate, you're playing fucking shit, mate, going goals. So I'm like, okay, I've went in goals, right? And it was actually at Goals on Great Western Road. And it was October time, mate, so it was pitch black, floodlights were on. And I'm standing right in the centre of the pitch, and I'm like to myself, why the fuck are the floodlights to the left off and the ones are on? And I couldn't see it, and I've done that. And I've turned around and I seen they were on.
Holy shit, that's
my heart sank. I went, no.
Your fucking arse must have sank, mate. Think, what?
Honestly, I was like, that isn't right. But mate, I kept getting all the wee black dots and all that, and all these wee black dots. I still get them. Getting all these wee black dots and all that flashes of light and everything. I was like, this isn't right. I went to A&E that night, and they says to me, I think it was, I'll never forget it, mate, it was a Thursday night, and they says to me, it's a 9-hour wait. And the mad thing was, there was actually a boy fighting on the same card as me up at A&E as well, but it was something to do with his eye. He had like conjunctivitis or something, so I knew he was going to be fine. But basically, what happened was, I sat in A&E for hours and hours, and I went, I'm going home. And I just went home, and I woke up, and I had like a black curtain came down my vision, so it was like, mate, a quarter of my eyesight was gone. And I went right back up to A&E, and the guy's done like this eye test where he's like brought it around, and he's like, tell me when you can see my hand. And I've went like that, right, I can see it. And he's looked at me and he's went, he was like, you need to go up to it. And he's on the phone and all that, and he's like on the phone, and he's like, have you got somebody here with you today? And I'm like,
that's not what you want to hear, is it? What the fuck?
I'm like, what the fuck, like, what's going on here? And he was like to me, I think you've either got a retinal tear or a retinal detachment. So all of a sudden, right, on to chat GPT, man. What is a retinal? Right, so I'm like, what is a retinal detachment, like? And I'm looking at it and saying this is a sight-threatening condition or that carry on. So I'm looking at Google Images and all that to see what it looks like.
Mate, what a fucking nightmare your brain is, by the way. Why are you doing that to yourself in the hospital?
I don't know, mate. I've always been like that. So, mate, basically, I went up to Gart Naval because I think that's the only place in Scotland that does eye.
Really? Right.
I think it's something like that, mate. It's like you get people that come down for like Inverness and all that are in Gart Naval. I was like, actually, a guy that I was in the post-op room when they was for Inverness. But I went to there and they done a dilated eye exam. And at this point, I knew it was right. I knew it was up. And basically, this wee nurse she took me in, she took photos of mine and all that. And I had been looking what a detached retina looks like on that computer, and it's basically it's like a semicircle,
Right.
and then it's like a thin semicircle, and then above that it's like a thick layer of tissue, and then it only shows you like this much at a time. So she's scrolling with the mouse, and it shows you like a 360 view of your retina. It just scrolls run and run, and then as she was scrolling run and run, I just seen it gone and jumped up, and I turned around and I went, "Is that my retina detached?" And she went, I'm not allowed to tell you, but if you just go sit outside, we'll get the doctor to see you." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I'm on the phone to my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, "This isn't good. Like, I know there's something, this is bad. And then this wee guy came in, and poor guy, man, honestly, he says to me, he went, yeah, you have a retinal detachment." And the first thing I said to him, I went, "Will I be able to fight again?" And he went, "Why are you asking me this?" He says, "You could go blind." And I was like, "Well, how do you fix this? And he was like, "You'll need surgery." And I was, so this was the, I think this was the Thursday, this was the Friday. And he says to me, he was like, "We don't operate in the weekends." I went, "What do you mean?" It was, we don't operate at the weekends." So he basically told me what I told you. And it was like, he says to me, he was like, it was called a superior detachment or a superior something like that. So it's basically the gel was falling down my eye and lifting it half as it was going to land. So he says to me, he sent me home, and I says to him, "What happens after the surgery?" And he says to me, he was like, "Some people it gets worse, some people it gets better." He says, "But most keep what they have." And at that point, I had nothing. I had
fucking point.
I couldn't see my horn until I got to here, right? So I was like, mate, I've started freaking out. I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time. I was like, "This isn't right. Like, what am I going to do? I'm never going. My life's ruined." I thought, I was like, this is it." And what happened was I get sent home, and mate, I had to sit like this, mate, till Tuesday. It got to Monday
because of the liquids moving.
So I had to stop it spreading. So mate, I sat like this and they didn't operate. They didn't operate me till Tuesday. They had to take me on the Monday for a. It was a pre-op, and then I went in on Monday for my pre-op, and then the Tuesday, that's when I get put under the microscope, mate. And then I think it was like you put me to sleep. I had stitches in my eye. I had stitches in my belt, and I've actually still got it's a silicone band. It's got a scleral buckle,
right?
And they put a scleral buckle in your eye, and it basically it indents your eye like a few millimeters, and it takes your eyeball, like kind of causes traction on your retina. So they've put a scleral buckle in my eye to indent it inwards so that it releases the pressure on the retina. And basically, I went back 3 weeks later. And they took photos of my eye, and it was like the kind of it wasn't the main eye surgeon, it was another wee assistant woman. And she took photos, and she went, like, I was with my dad at the time, mate. This was like 2 days before my birthday. I had booked to go to Barcelona for my birthday and everything. I think I was meant to fly out like 4 days later. I think it was like the day after my birthday I was to fly out. And they turned around, and she was like looking at the scan, the pictures and all that, and she went, my dad was sitting next to me, and my dad looked at me as if this isn't good. And basically, because it says to me that the chances the first surgery no working is 1 in 10.
Right.
So I was for high hopes, you know what I mean? And then my dad's looked at me pure funny as if this isn't good. And then she's basically, I said to her, I was like, "Where are you going?" Because she's got up and walked out the room. She was like, "I need to go and get a picture of what your eye was like before this."
To see what's changed.
So she's come back with my surgeon. So at the time before I get the eye surgery, the first one, this is your retina. It's like they look at it like a clock. And she says to me that I had a 3 clock hour detachment, so a quarter of my retina had detached. So then she came back with the kind of a proper surgeon woman that knows a bit more that she's talking about. And she sat down and she went, "Listen," she went, "that surgery hasn't worked." I went, "What do you mean?" And she went, "This has got worse." And I went,
hell, man.
"What do you mean?" And she went, it was a 3 clock hour detachment. And I said to her, I was like, "So what's it at now?" And she was like, 6. So see when it gets to 6 o'clock hour,
that's half.
Bang on up. It's just, but see at the 6 hour mark, you've got something called your macula, and that's what's responsible for your actual eyesight, not just your peripheral. So anything from around there, that's all peripheral. But see at 6 o'clock hour, that's where your macula is, and that's what's responsible for
your primary eyesight.
Like reading direct eyesight, reading faces, reading text, reading like all this stuff. And she says, I said to her, how close is it to my macula? And she went, it's literally basically on it.
Oh my
So
God.
I says to her, I was like, what am I going to do? And she was like, when do you want your she was like, we can get you back in. And I says, my dad was like, you know, going on holiday. I was like, fuck the holiday, I don't care. Like, get me under that microscope as soon as possible. So she was like, I can get you in on Thursday. I think this was like Monday or something like that. And I had a night out booked for for my birthday. I went out with my pals, and I went out that night, mate, and I drank a bit too much. And what happened is, mate, I went back to the house, man, and I made myself sick. And obviously on my face had
The pressure.
contracted it.
Aye.
And then, mate, I went back to get into my bed, mate, and I couldn't see out my eye. So, mate, I went back up to A&E again, and I've told them I couldn't see. They've sent me to Gart Naval, and basically they took another reading in my eye and went like, listen, man, this is on your macula. Like, you're probably going to wake up tomorrow and you're not going to be able to see. So I was in there for 2 days, mate, and I actually went into the operation 2 days later where I hung over. But a bit of good thing, a kind of a bit of good came for that, because I went for my pre-op scan. They take a photo of your eye and all that before the morning of your operation, just to kind of see what they're working with. And when they took the photo, she basically says to me, she was like, it was just a temporary pressure spike in your eye that kind of pushed the gel to your macula. She went, it's settled a bit.
It's moved away.
And it's moved away. So she was like, now we can do it. And what they done was they gave me something called a vitrectomy. So that's basically when they remove all that vitreous gel in your eye to basically stop it hanging the retina, and then they actually go in their cells and flatten the retina down.
Does it not get stitched back in and like attached again, like that piece to another part of the eye? I've seen these microscopic surgeries that are just so fucking terrifying to think that the instruments are touching the most sensitive, and apart from the end of your dick, that's like the most sensitive part of your body is the eyeball. Oh, I know you would have, mate. I know you would have. Fucking hell, I would have picked the Bobby any time out eye surgery.
So basically what happened with that was they done a vitrectomy and they removed all the vitreous gel and they flattened all the retina out. I was obviously put to sleep both times. They woke me right up for they woke me right up for the second operation, woke me up straight away, sat me up, and I had to keep a posture. So they brought in like a table, and basically what I had to do was sit with my head like that for an hour.
Why is that?
Here. Yeah, that was to let because it reached the 6 o'clock or the 6 o'clock mark. That was to basically let the gas bubble push the retina back up.
Right.
And then after the hour, what I had to do was I think it was for like 2 weeks. I had to sit like this again so that the gas bubble would float up and push the retina back up, like, because it was obviously this side. So I had to sit like this so the gas bubble would push up and like kind of hold the retina. I think it was like S5 type gas or something. It was only a wee bit. So my sight was basically, I could see the gas bubble in my eye. So when I shut my eye, it was like eye. So when I done that and I shut my eye, it was like a big black, it was like half of my vision was a black bubble. It was like a black semicircle bubble. And if I done that, I could see it. Like,
and it would move?
But see like the wee toys you get? And it's like the wee bubbles.
That's crazy. That was your eye was like.
I'm sitting in my bed like that.
What are they, wee fucking carnival toys?
So I had to sit like that for like 2 weeks, mate. But see, to be honest, mate, it could have been worse because there was a guy sitting next to me in the post-op kind of a room, the ward, and mate, this guy, mine was a dead slow detachment. As I says, it was only progressing like 1% every few days, 3 days or something. So it was dead slow. But mate, that's how I didn't notice it until like a wee while. Because I did say to them, I was like, cause I'd no longer done the boxing fight, and I says to them, I went, did this happen was this because of this boxing fight this has happened? And they basically says to me, no. They went, when was the boxing fight? And I says, I think it was like 3 weeks ago. And they says, no. They says, judging by the size of the tear and how much it's progressed, she says it wouldn't have progressed this fast in 3 weeks. She says you've had it for longer. Don't get me wrong, my vision for the boxing fight was absolutely fine. But so the guy that was sat next to me in the ward post-op, he was basically saying to me, he was like, he had to lie on like flat on his face, and his missus was sitting next to me, and she was having to order, see the massaging tables you get?
I would have hit dying through it.
So she was sitting ordering him one of them because he thought, mate, it was like almost 24 hours a day. He could only get up 10 minutes like every 2 hours or something to get up and take a toilet and all that. He basically went to sleep one night, mate. He had diabetic retinopathy. Then that's basically when you get I think it's like your diabetes gets into your eyes and like destroys does something. Basically, he went to sleep one night, mate, with full eyesight and woke up the next day blind in one eye.
Do you know I know a wee tiny bit about that. My old man, he had really bad diabetes, and he had that day, and it was instantly, he went from having really good eyesight to instantly having like cloudy eyesight. And at the time, again, it was like years and years before it was even a thing, diabetes. He was helping my ma lay a carpet down, and he thought dust for the carpet got in his eye, and he left it for a couple of days and didn't think it near it, and it got worse and worse and worse, and it just fucking started corroding it. He was almost blind at the end. He's like, I mean, it's fucking horrible. So it's horrible. Stuff, but can you imagine that sitting in a fucking massage table like that for like 24 hours a day?
Well, mate, that's what I'm saying, mate. You need to be grateful. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was like to myself at the time. I was like, at least I could sit and like this and watch a telly, play the PlayStation. I could still do things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could have been heat down. And I was like, it just shows you, mate, there's always somebody worse off. Do you know what I mean?
Jinky's wife would, like, you know, go underneath the table for him and stuff.
she didn't seem like that type anyway.
No, that poor cunt.
She was sitting moaning about the price of the chairs. She's like, fuck, man, this man's 80 quid, man. And I'm like, fucking hell, poor guy, man.
She's fucking sliding into some cunt's DMs.
I probably got his bank card at, man.
So let's get to that. That is a fucking, mate, that was traumatic listening to that. That is, how do you recover from that?
It still affects me, so it does, mate. If my vision's no, it's so basically with the.
Do the test now, what do you see? Do the test when you're in Hon, like go run it. What do you see? When do you?
So mate, my peripheral vision's fine now, right? My peripheral vision's fine. They done an eye test at me and the doctors, and basically what they says was, they gave me literally the most mild glasses prescription you can have, right? So I'm no, and that's only because, see the scleral buckle, that indents your eye in like millimeters, right? Mm-hmm. And that makes you, it's either short or nearsighted, I can't remember, but it changes your eyesight in some way where it's like, I can't see stuff. It's like, I can shut my good eye and read like your Nothing Is Over podcast t-shirt you've got up there, so that's fine, but it's more the seeing like really sunny like backgrounds. I actually had to change barbers. Like, I was going to a barber, and it was one of my pals. He opened up his own barber shop, and inside his barber shop was just all white. So see against like white backgrounds and all that, I can see like these wispy black floaters and all that when I move my about.
Shit, really?
But it's dead faint. Like the ones I had, like when I had the detachment, was solid black dots, and it was like shivers around. It was like pepper or your vision.
Right. Is it like any kind of intense kind of brightness?
Aye, kind of, mate. It's like, if it's basically bright rooms and all that, Kevin. Don't get me wrong. It only happens when I move my. Sometimes I'm like, fuck's sake, this is brutal. But I'm like, it's because I know it's there. I do that and I move my eyes about, and then I make it happen.
And you're conscious of it, but any other time you just fucking.
And there's another weird thing that's been happening to me, and it's the worst, mate. It's like, I think, see, because of how long my retina was detached for, I think my retina must have been there for like I had the 3 week, it was detached for 3 weeks before I noticed, and then I think I found out I had the surgery didn't work like 3 weeks later, so, and it was probably detached for nearly 2 months, right? That's a long time. Because what happens is that once the retina separates for your eye, or the cells start dying and all that, and it like maybe doesn't come back. But I think, right, that my eye, this eye, I think it processes light differently. So see when I do this and I shut my eyes and then I open my eyes, and if I'm in a light room, I can literally see almost the light passing through my vision. It's a wee white worm.
So it takes longer for it to adjust then to that, rather than going for dark.
Adjusting. It's like, if I do that and I do that, I can see like a wee white worm adjusting for my vision that disappears.
Don't do that again, that's racist. So, I mean, when did you decide to then do the podcast? Where did that come from? When you're sitting there, obviously, and you're post eye surgery now, and you know you can't fight, and that's not going to be an option again.
So that was November. When did that? The successful surgery was November. I then got I got the all clear New Year's Eve for them to say, right, that's you. Your retina's fully healed, because they say if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong in the first couple of weeks. So, and a big part of that is for scar tissue called PVR, and it's basically my retina, half of my retina that's held down by scar tissue. But some people's bodies, I think it's usually older people, I think like, I don't know what age range it says, but it says to me that sometimes your body can produce too much scar tissue, and then that tugs on, then that scar tissue that's meant to be holding it down tugs on it again.
Oh, and it makes it back to worse again, right?
So I got the all clear on New Year's Eve for them to say she was really, really happy with the results. She said she's happy with what she sees. She was delighted basically. So that was obviously a good way to start the new year. And I had been going to this gym called Pack Performance in Paisley. I don't know if you know who they
No,
are.
I don't know.
They're like a strength and conditioning gym. Brilliant gym, mate, honestly. Tam, who runs it, is brilliant. Brilliant group of people, mate. I had been
What kind
going
of
there
training are you doing?
so it's like high rocks kind of training,
Oh,
circuits,
right,
all that kind of wall balls, running,
nice, right.
all the kind of good strength conditioning stuff. I done a lot of it for, I think I was maybe there 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week leading up to the boxing fight before the eye. And I was all I kept thinking was, right, if I can't fight again, I want to go back into Pack Performance, and I want to kind of because mate, I've always struggled, mate, but I struggle with mental health kind of a wee bit, and it was always like I would have like an MMA fight, and then I'd be in a pure good place leading up to it, and then after the fight would happen, I would kind of be like, what did I do now? And then I would end up spiraling and no being.
It's a focus thing. You've got something to focus on, and then once
So
you've not got anything to focus on, then you're.
Aye. So mate, I started focusing on all these things. So like, it was in January. My pal messaged me and he was like, "I want to start doing this running thing." So I was like, right, that's fine. So I went back to the gym, and obviously, mate, it was horrible because it's like lifting heavy weights and all that. That can cause what I had as well. So I was always wary, and I was going back, mate, and it was hard, mate, because I went for training basically every single day, twice a day, like when I was training for that fight, and went back to basically sitting doing nothing, mate. I was the skinniest, I was the lightest I'd ever been, mate. I just didn't know what to do.
But the kind of training you're doing leading up to that fight, you're doing strength and conditioning stuff, you're doing road work, you're doing sparring, it's all heavy training. To now, you're used to that as well. You've been training MMA since you're 15, and now you're at a point where you don't even know what kind of fucking training you can do, and you're doing, high rocks now?
Well, anything that's not on contact. So basically, I started venturing. I'm like, right, what other things can I do? So, mate, as soon as I get told that's you can go to the gym, you can basically live your life, you can go back to work. I've went back to Pack Performance January kind of time, and I've jumped body and I've went, fuck it, I'm going to sign up for the Milan Marathon in April.
Oh, right? Really? Right.
And I was like, right, okay. And then my pal Ryan, he was saying he wanted to run. And we done the winter warmer run in Glasgow Green. It was a half marathon.
Right,
and it was basically just loops of Glasgow Green until you.
How long's a half marathon?
That's
how many miles is it? Is it 10 miles or something?
I think it's 20 odd kilometres.
Right.
So it's maybe like 13 mile or something like that. I think it's something like 13 mile. So we done that, and that was all right. Like, don't get me wrong, had to dig deep. You meet good people running. You end up like, I started with my pal. He's off, but he was rapid. He was off. Left me with another guy, Henry. His name was. Me and him got talking all the time. Met somebody. Crossing the finish line, that was obviously brilliant. But I was like, it's just not the same. So then we signed up to do the Pack Performance. They sponsored the. It was Ultra X Scotland, it's called, and it's like the trail running.
Oh, aye.
So I signed up for that kind of last minute, and
you really fucking hate your knees, didn't you? Why do you hate your knees so much?
So a lot of people were signing up for, like, I think you could, I don't know what the range for. I think you could do it the 10k, 25k, and the 50k. I signed up for the 25k, and I hit that. And don't get me wrong, that was something. That was brilliant. That was in Inverness, and that was really, really good.
Is the runner's high a thing? Is that a real thing? Aye. I fucking hate running. I've done a treadmill for the longest time. I hate running.
I feel a lot of it. See, with this, mate, like the trail running was like it was like, obviously you'll be up the Humphrey, ain't you? So a lot. It's kind of like that, mate. So a lot of the time you found yourself, like, our coach was like, just make sure you're walking the hills and all that, and running the flats. But there wasn't any flats, so I found myself half the time. I was like, I think I got to like maybe fifth. I think I was alright, and I got to like 18k in, and then, mate, my feet and my shin they were killing me. So then I was kind of slowing down, and then but as I was slowing down, I could feel the cramp setting in my calves, and I could literally feel the cramp moving about my calves and all that. And I was like, I'm either having to choose between running and my shins and my feet getting it, and then my calves getting it. But it got to a point where we ended up running for longer. I think everybody done like an extra 2 kilometres or something, so it's like 27 kilometres. I wasn't happy about that. But after I done that, mate, that was brilliant. All the guys for the gym and all that, they were there supporting you. But at the same time, mate, I want to be involved in the fight game. Involved in combat sports. That's it, mate. I love doing it. if I can be involved in any way possible. So I started looking into refereeing.
Oh,
Mate,
right, nice.
that's
Really?
that's a nightmare trying to get that done. I think the only thing I could see was Mark Goddard's school, and I'm like, that's a bump, man. I'm not, I'd like to go to a course, you know what I mean,
Aye,
and
aye.
get credentials to do it. But mate, it's so hard to do it, mate. I couldn't find any kind of a reputable courses or anything that was worth actually pursuing.
Mhm.
And then I thought to myself, I was driving to work and it was my pal Sean Paul O'Connor. He
Yes, I know
was
Sean Paul. Shout out to Sean Paul,
shout
yes.
out Sean Paul, mate, helped me through a lot of hard times, man. One of my good pals, I texted him and I was like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast, you know. And he was like, aye, what kind? I was like, a combat sports one. So I knew kind of through the years of training or that, I had made enough kind of a good contacts
Mhm.
to kind of get them on.
Start it and get people on. What are you
So I
interested in?
started.
Why though? What do you want to date for? What are you interested in? What do you want to get to about it? What is the thing?
It's just being involved, mate. It's getting to
Mhm.
know these guys. It's to help them out. It's to give them a platform, and then it's just to kind of be in amongst it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, mate,
My thought
fighting's
is,
been
I'd like see yourself. I want to get you on here because I want to get selfishly. I want to have you on my show talking about
right,
things that I wouldn't hear you talk about on your own show.
right,
So
okay. I
that's why.
appreciate that, mate.
But that's why I like to talk about you because on your own show, weirdly, you're not going to be talking about you much
Aye,
because you
aye,
have a
man.
whole show about a guest. Your show is guest orientated. Mine is kind of half and half, a wee bit. Like you'll only know my show as being a guest orientated show sort of thing because that's your
I've seen
participation
some
in
of
it.
your movie scene
Oh,
walkthroughs.
I'm just saying, as the show is
Aye.
for your side, it's a thing. It's that. So the preparation for that kind of thing is different. But where the fuck was I going with that there? Fucking, what was I talking about?
Why was I doing this?
Aye.
Why would I want to do this?
So what do you want to get out of the show? Because I kind of bring people on because I want to hear them talk about something different and create a kind of library of really like cool interest, especially for local people, Glasgow people. Mate, we fucking probably stay. I could probably, make a sound at my window and you would hear it right now. You stay so
Aye.
close to it. But I'm fascinated because like we probably bumped into each other and I've no idea of this kind of history of you and what you're up to and what the
Mate,
kind of
this
things
did
you
come
want
out
to
of
do.
nowhere.
So but that's amazing though, and I love to see people like yourself doing podcasts because this is always something. I mean, they say like everybody in their dog has got a podcast, right? But it's not really strictly.
Literally.
It's not really strictly true. People don't really stick to it though. They do a couple of episodes and stuff. I don't really have a plan, but you actually have a plan. Don't you? You have a
So
plan of going ahead. So what is your plan going ahead? Because you got episode 2 set up. You know what you're
episode
doing.
2 set up. We've got people penciled in. We've got a lot of good guests coming on. We're going to see you at the end of the year. And I've branched off to it. So we've actually, this is something I was wanting to do a bit further down the line, but it's kind of happened a bit sooner than I expected. But I've always been interested in media. So reporting, journalism, all that kind of
Nice,
carry
right.
on. I've never studied it at college. I've never done anything like that. I'm a heating engineer, do you know what I mean? I've never done anything like that. But I'm always looking and I'm like, how cool would that be? Like Ariel
I love
Helwani.
that. I love that.
And you're sitting and you're like, how cool would that be for that to be your job? You get all these media credentials. You can go in the side doors and you can just go and interview people and all that kind of. And I'm like, that would be great. So I thought to myself, there's mic'd up podcast, and then I found out that my pal, he coached me. So for the second MMA fight I done, I was actually working away, and I was working away up in Peterhead. And I was like, right, I'm going to be up here for, I think it's like an 8-week training camp I had today. And I was at to myself, I'm going to be working away. How can I make this work? So I Googled MMA gyms nearby and I found out a gym called Procore HQ. Shout out to Procore HQ, by the way, brilliant group of guys up there, brilliant coaches. And I went along and I found that gym and I told them, listen, I've got a fight in 8 weeks, but I'm going to be here most of the time. Went there, they trained me. Honestly, I got to the point I was gutted I didn't want to leave them. They were like family to me. Like by the end of it all, Mark Proctor, Tristan, was a boy Lewis. It was absolutely brand new. They were all just great. They showed me all this kind of a different things, and I actually went on to win that fight very
Nice
convincingly. With a lot of the things that they showed me, it was brilliant. They were actually all going to come down to watch a fight, and I was like, "Don't be daft, that's a mission away, man." To see me get a doing.
As you can do it. That's amazing though.
So we done that, and then I noticed that he'd actually reached out to me last year asking me to fight on his fight show. It's called Ready to Die Fight Promotions. And then once I had done I announced the podcast, I got speaking to him, and me and him both agreed that I was going to help cover the media for his next fight show.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
So we got speaking about that, and then that kind of nothing really happened after that, and then he reached out to me and he was like, right, that's all the VIP tickets completely sold out. He was like, I'm going to start promoting this now. So we'll basically can you start doing your job? And I went, aye, of course. So I was on yesterday and I was getting all these people down, and we're going to hit. I'm going to have to basically interview them this kind of style because also they're all the way up north.
Aye.
So media coverage is going to be a massive part of it, and I think that's maybe where the financial kind of side will come in. But as I say, this is how I knew that this is what I was supposed to do, because I never started this thinking about money. Do you know what I mean? I didn't start this and going, well, I can make money off this, I can make money off this. I just started this because I knew that I wanted to be in amongst it. I wanted to give these fighters that maybe aren't the best known a platform to get their story out there, and see if I can get them a few fucking viral clips on TikTok for maybe people to go, well, he's got mic skills. Do you know what I mean? Because see when you're an amateur or like a kind of an early stage pro, you don't really get to go to press conferences.
There's no media training.
You don't get to go to press. You don't get to see these guys got to press conferences and all that when they're in Cage Warriors and when they're doing all this. It's the UFC that you get the mic skills and you get all these highlights and all that. And I thought to myself, if I can get these guys on and they can get their story out there and they can have if they've got a bit of personality on them, then fair enough. And then these clips go viral. And as I say, with exposure comes opportunities, I believe. And if I can be the one that can help at least fucking a handful of fighters through if I do 200 episodes and if I get 5 fighters noticed, then I feel I've done my job. Do you know what I mean?
That's perfect, mate. I love that. I absolutely love that, because my initial perception of you was, is this guy just trying to fucking make money and sell hoodies or something like that? What is this? And it's the opposite. But that's the thing though. That's the problem with social media. It got me as well. It got me because you don't know the story behind the fucking thing until you actually see what the person is. And you're in it for the love of the game, mate. And I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. The format of your show, how do you see the format of your show, Stein? Is it the interview thing? Because your next episode is also 2 guests as well, isn't it?
It's Ryan Turner and James McCorry. So Ryan Turner's obviously our sponsor. He sponsors us. And he also sponsors Jimmy and all. So basically the Fight Factory is, shout out the Fight Factory by the way. The Fight Factory is basically a boxing promotion, but mate, Big J, he's part of the Fight Factory. So basically what they do is they do normal boxing, they do hybrid boxing, so that's boxing with MMA gloves. They do
I seen the thing where our cunts like fucking tied to each other in a ring or something like that. And
they shot collar
that's
boxing.
That stuff. It looks like I commented on one of their posts saying this is some shit you see in Russia or something like that.
Aye, mate, it's mad. And then after that, there's another thing that's like step into retire. So it's like if any of the fights end in a draw, they go backstage and they get a tire and they put it in the middle of the ring. That's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I think they fight until somebody drops, and then if somebody doesn't drop, I think it's, if I'm not wrong, I think it's whoever gets the biggest cheer for the crowd.
Right.
So I think
you're going to get a winner.
Tickets. Aye. So that's what the Fight Factor is, and that tied in well with Jimmy because he sponsors him. They're really good pals, and the Fight Factory is kind of like a feeder to the Impact. So Impact, obviously Impact bare knuckle boxing. It's the biggest. I think it's like the only bare knuckle show in Scotland. It's massive. Their shows are brilliant, mate. You should get a link to one of them.
Can I ask you about that, by the way? This is turning into a mammoth episode. I hope you're cool with that, by the way. But we've still got a lot to get to. Still got a lot to get to. Why do you think bare knuckle has took such a leap in popularity just recently? Because us Scottish people are fucking crushing it in the bare knuckle, by the way. And I first saw it maybe like 5 years ago, and to me it was kind of like how it was perceived when you first ever saw UFC back in the day.
Is it cockfighting in it?
Human cockfighting, because mate, it's such a true story. Everybody, I'm 45 years old, right, so I'm older than you, but my generation, we all got these 2 videos for Paddy's Market, the Barras, whatever. It was Faces of Death and UFC 1, and you saw them as the same thing, so it was fucking like, you shouldn't be watching it. And that's what I saw bare knuckle as at first. It was just a bit too far. I love watching fucking MMA. I love watching jiu-jitsu, fight, combat sports, kickboxing. But that just seemed to be a level too far for me. So I kind of tuned out a wee bit. Mike Perry, fucking, you know.
His nose was plastered with it. His nose was
oh my God, man. I was going, I just can't watch that, man. But then it just gained so much in popularity. And you see they're proper athletes. They're training like real athletes.
100%.
Why do you think it's just all of a sudden popped in the last maybe 5-6 years or so?
Well, obviously you've got fucking McGregor buying.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
And he's a promoter, man. He's probably as good a promoter than he is a fighter, to be honest.
His name legitimises anything really when he puts his name to it. So.
Between the headlines of McGregor, he pushes things really well. And then obviously you've got it was bigger in America at first to be KFC, but then when it came to England, I think people start thinking that people think it is just like one guy out tough another guy, but it really isn't, because there's so many aspects to it. These guys will have the nutritionists, they'll have strength conditioning coaches, they'll have they learn how to get the single collar tie and how to do damage in the clinch and all that. So there is an aspect, a skill behind it, a technique, definitely. You're not going to just put a guy in for half a street that doesn't know how to fight, but he's maybe tough, and put him against fucking probably I'm not even a ranked bare knuckle fighter. The bare knuckle fighter is going to mop the floor with him, because that is a complete different style of boxing. But
there's different variations as well. You've got dirty boxing is something new as well, and then they've got.
But it's all about the promotion that they've done. So the promotion, you've had Mike. I think it all started when all the UFC stars started in there. You had Mike Perry fighting, because you had Artem Lobov for SBG. He beat Paulo Malignaggi, who was a world champion boxer. Artem Lobov is. I mean, he was really good in the UFC, but how is he beating Paulo Malignaggi in a boxing match? And then you've got Mike Perry fighting Luke Rockhold, punch
fuck at him.
Punch fuck at him. I don't know if I was allowed to say that. Punch fuck at him. Punch fuck at Michael Venom Page. So you've got all.
Perry just found his niche in that.
That's his sport, mate. And I feel like obviously you've got Darren Till.
This is what I want to tell you as well, because it's went for such a thing where you're getting almost, you could say, washed up MMA people going into that, where it looked like, oh, they're getting there for a different kind of thing, a paycheck or whatever. Now you're getting fucking Darren Till, who's a legit elite top level superstar fucking personality. And he's fighting Yoel Romero as well, by the way. Yoel Romero, who fights like every fucking 3 months, nearly 50 years old, he's jacked as fuck. Is incredible. The scariest of guys. I mean, he literally fought like a couple of months ago, I think. Did you know?
So I think we get bare knuckle. They've done really well to push it, to promote it, and then I think honestly, this kind of ad just speaks for the UK. As soon as it hit the UK, it went boom, and it exploded. I went down to me honestly, because I went down to I went to the second Impact show, sorry, in East Kilbride, and mate, I sat and watched it, and mate, I swear to God, man, I went myself, I didn't go with any of my pals, I went to watch Jay, and I swear to God, mate, I love fighting, right, but I've watched Joanna Jędrzejczyk fighting Weili Zhang when she had the hematoma, Rory McDonald fighting Robbie Lawler, the bloodiest of fights, I'm like, that is brilliant. But see, when I seen that bare knuckle, mate, it had me going.
Did it really?
And then, so that was, and I knew straight away, I was like, mate, it had me put off, it didn't put me off MMA, but I'll be completely honest, see if somebody had a ticket here and go at to me, do you want to go and watch bare knuckle, or do you want to go and watch an MMA fight? I'm taking a bare knuckle ticket any day, 100%, mate, definitely. And also the thing was, I was actually talking to a boy that I know who's a massive fight fan. He's into UFC London in the BKFC. It was one the Big J fought, Mick Terrell.
The stoppage,
me and my pal go ringside for that. We were like right at the very front. We were actually sat behind Johnny Nelson.
Wow, really?
We got a photo with the owner of BKFC, David Feldman.
Aye.
So we were right in amongst it. mate, see for the ringside seats, mate, I was only per ticket, mate, we were £250.
Really, aye?
Ringside,
For ringside
like,
for that?
the closest you could get, like
Aye.
literally, mate, you could have threw was starting at the ring. And then
You pay that kind of money for ringside, that's acceptable, there's nothing wrong with that.
100%, but then see,
I don't want to know how much UFC fucking any ticket was for that.
Mate, my pal went to UFC London the following weekend, and it was £300, mate, for a seat up in the nosebleeds.
Aye,
watching the first screen, basically.
It's disgusting.
So, mate, I think another factor is definitely the ticket prices as well, because the UFC take the piss. Honestly, I've never been to a live UFC event.
I don't think anybody could afford it. Any working man can't really afford it at all.
No, definitely not, mate. So I think the reason for the big push with bare knuckle is UK fans that love it.
I think I heard McGregor say this. I think it was McGregor said this, and it does ring true. If it wasn't him, I might be misquoting it, but he said it's such an exciting, explosive sport because every punch does damage. And when boxing, it's a different thing because it's not like anybody who's a really good boxer can just step in and just fucking absolutely, own it. It's a different kind of training, and you have to realise that, you may be like peppering some jabs and stuff like that, and you can't really do that in that because everything you do, there's nowhere to hide.
You know what I mean? They start you for the centre.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Most places they go.
You have to go towards that, but they're right next. Aye. That's why you see such fast knockouts in it too. You see fucking 3-second knockouts and shit.
Aye, the referee goes, you ready, and then they come to corners, but he stuns them in the middle and he goes, fight, and then that's it, and then they're not comes to each other. So mate, bare knuckle is still so early for bare knuckle as well. And see the fact that they've got it, because I always thought bare knuckle was gypsy fighting.
That's the documentary's amazing. It's called Knuckle, and it's about gypsy fight. That's 100% what I thought it was. I thought, it's the gypsy promotions.
You know Andy Hillhouse? You know him?
Aye, for the drum.
Mate, he was one of the first bare knuckle
fighters. I watched his YouTube. He's got a whole big... Aye, in the barn. I've seen that loads, aye.
Mate, see, when I watched that years ago, I went, the fuck?
I know, you're like, oh my God.
What the fuck are they doing? And then now it's on the telly. It's, you know what I mean? It's streamed
going viral TikTok clips it and shit.
Mate, it's brilliant, man. So I'm really looking forward to the future of bare knuckle, especially the Scottish scene.
Aye, exactly, mate, exactly. The Brian Hislop, shout out to Brian Hislop doing fucking amazing. He's got a fight coming up, I'm sure.
He just fought, who was it he just fought?
The guy that fucking Tam beat.
Aye, I can't remember his name, that's terrible.
John Chipchase.
Chipchase, mate, that was it, the English guy.
And I think Brian, because I followed Brian on. I did Brian.
Like a pit bull, man.
He's a fucking animal, by the way, isn't he?
Big fan.
I love watching him fight. I did his Fortified Man. I failed, should I say, his Fortified Man online coaching program sort of thing. Right. And also I follow him online. I've seen that he started his fight camp. He's not even getting an opponent yet, but he started his fight camp because he knows he's going to be fighting on the event. So he started because he's a fucking savage and he just trains constantly. And it's amazing to watch, man. Especially his age. His age, fucking, he's like 38, 39 or something like that, and he's fucking hanging and banging with everybody. He's fucking, it's amazing, mate. It's amazing.
Well, mate, that's like Jimmy McCorry. I know he was fighting that Dan Morrell, and I don't know what age Dan Morrell is. I think he's maybe in his early 30s, maybe 6-7 years older than me. But mate, that was a fight, man. That was that's what I'm saying about Jimmy McCorry, the next guest. He's had two bare knuckle fights, mate. 2 of them were fighting a night. The first one was in contender for fight of the year, and then his second one probably will get fight of the year.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Because if you've got time, mate, go and watch
Jimmy McCorry
versus Dan Morrell. Wow, mate. Jimmy McCorry looked at the elephant. I was
really?
Honestly, mate, but honestly, what a tough motherfucker he is, man. You won't get anybody in Scotland that look tough him. I'm telling you, he's a fucking scary guy, man. Honestly, he's a scary guy, mate, but he's one of the nicest guys ever.
This is the thing that I love about your show, because you've got such a passion for all kind of combat sports, right? And this is the part we're going to get to in the show now. And you bring that to your show, but you're really going to be talking about your guests. You're not going to have a great chance to talk about specific things like fight cards and stuff like that, unless it does come up in a conversation. And there's a big UFC fight card coming up, and we have not spoken about any MMA on my show for a while now. I did have a personal trainer. Shout out to Coach Frosty for the last episode. We had a wee talk about Conor McGregor, but it was more about the injury and stuff like that. So I want to talk about this because this is such a fascinating fight. I don't really give a fuck about any other fight on UFC 330. The main event is Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Gary, sorry.
Machado Gary.
Now, I know Mackenzie Dale's fighting, but we don't talk about women's sports on my show. So you can talk about it in Mike Tub if you want. You can get Birds Fighters on. That's up to you, mate. But we don't talk about women's sports, including football, on this show. So, UFC 330, what do you think? What's your prediction? And here's have a wee audition for some of your media training when you're doing kind of like fight coverage and stuff like that, right? What do you think? How do you see this going?
I'll tell you something that I do know for certain. Ian Gary is one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC. He is not taken very seriously because of the sin they carry on with his wife and all that. I think he's a lot like Colby Covington. His personality takes away from you take a strip of that away. Ian Gary's one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC.
Fuck, and that's what annoys people about him. I think that's why people hate him, because he does himself no favours, by the way. He talks the way...
I think he plays into it.
No, I think he just does. I don't think he gives a fuck either, but I think he genuinely, he probably plays into it, but the problem is that he can annoy everybody so much, because see, when he fights like fuck, and he is a real problem for Islam.
Look at Carlos Prates,
exactly.
Man.
But he is a real fucking...
No slouch. I think back then you thought Carlos Prates wasn't really known, but then when Carlos Prates went and fought the former... welterweight champion, fucking GDM, mate, fuck him. Like, honestly, like, bullied him, basically. And then yet Ian Gary beat him. The thing is with Ian Gary's really good at using his length and his size to control the octagon and get in and out. And I don't know if Islam personally, obviously, is if he's underestimating Ian Gary or no, but if he does, it'll be the worst mistake he ever makes.
Is he going to chase him for 5 rounds, though? Is he going to be chasing Ian Gary for 5 rounds? Because the thing is that I love the matchup of that, because you've got the grappling and the striking, and Gary's striking is fucking top notch, and he can move around the outside, and he can pick off Islam. But if Islam grabs him, unless Ian Gary's been doing like 100 million fucking sprawls during his fight camp, and he's just doing nothing but wrestling defense training, I don't know how good it is compared to Islam's wrestling. If he grabs him, is it no fucking night Ian?
Night, mate. But see at the same time, you had Peter Yan. I don't know if it's really fair to hang of this, but see footwork. They say that instead of takedown defense, I feel like anytime you see somebody beat a wrestler is when they've got really good footwork. Like, so you had Aljamain Sterling, people went like that. When O'Malley knocked out Aljamain Sterling, people went, why did Aljamain Sterling not just take him down? Because he couldn't take him down. Sean O'Malley's footwork was just too good. He was in and out circling, and you can't take somebody down if their footwork's that good. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Aljamain Sterling isn't fucking Islam Makhachev, but it's kind of it's very similar.
It's very similar matchup to that. That's really smart, mate. I like that. I've never thought of that. That's fucking interesting.
You also have you had Merab. He basically
I love Merab.
Peter Yan went and beat him. Do you know what I mean? And he's a kind of I don't know if he class him as like a Dagestani wrestler, but he's like kind of a doing that line. He's like
he's the same kind of style as that.
Machine. He'll grab you and he'll just drown you basically. So that's
wrestle
kind of
fuck you.
Like. I feel if I was to put my life on it, I'm going with Islam. But the way this year, with all these upsets, you get Sean Strickland beating Hamzat. I'll tell you right now, see if Sean Strickland can beat Hamzat, Ian Gary can beat Islam.
I love that Strickland's champ again. I love that. I love it.
Oh, mate, Strickland's brilliant, but I think if Justin Gaethje can beat Topuria...
Oh, mate, is that... Mate. UFC, that was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That was a literal, real-life Rocky story that played out. Everybody, including myself, counted him out because I thought Ilya is just... He's the evolution. It was Rocky 4. It was like you're looking at Ilya training like Drago and fucking Justin Gaethje training like Rocky in the mountains and fucking, and he ended up, mate, he pieced him up. He fucking battered him.
Mate, it was really good. I kind of knew after the first episode, after the first round, I said to myself, I don't know if Ilya's got anything for him, because obviously you've seen Justin Gaethje fighting Paddy Pimblett.
Aye.
And I'm not going to lie, I watched that right here where I'm now with one of my pals, and see Justin Gaethje walking out into the ring against Paddy Pimblett. I literally says to myself, I feel sorry for him. He looked old and he just looked
sullen.
As if he just looked dead. As if he was like a sacrificial lamb. Almost.
Mate, that's what I thought. UFC are feeding him to the new guys now.
Aye, 100%. And then he went out, beat Paddy.
And they're like, oh, we need to feed him to the guy now.
And then I'm like to myself, because the Paddy and Justin Gaethje fight didn't look... If I'm not going to lie, what I says to my pal when we watched the Justin Gaethje and Paddy fight, I says to him, I was like, your Topuria will be fucking what you to yourself, like, whatever one of them is easy pickings for me. I mean,
I thought that too.
So that's what I thought. And then at the mate, she just everything for Justin Gaethje's walkout and all that, and
fucking perfect. The Declaration of Independence.
And he's walked out.
Ain't no grave can hold my body down. Fucking yes, man. Mate, I was American. I was like fucking saluting it. Are you kidding me on, man? That was the best, dude. Oh, fuck, man.
So I was fucking... mate. So when he walked out like that, I thought to myself, well, all he needs to do now is win this fight. I felt like that was literally I felt like it was kind of the perfect... Like it was all kind of a written.
100% think so. It's how the movie should have ended. Then that's exactly it.
Well, mate, that's it. But is he going to retire? No chance. Let's be honest. But it is the perfect retirement. Like, he's been chasing this and chasing it and chasing it. And one thing I have noticed, I don't know if this is a reach or no, but I don't think this is kind of off topic as well. But obviously you seen the video of Dustin Poirier on the airport, and kind of I went right.
It's gonna be bad. Beep bleep.
And he's got it's going to be bad bleep bleep, and kind of he took a wee bit of mental health dive.
Aye.
I think I don't think he took Justin Gaethje winning the title too well, because he was chasing that his whole life.
Fucking in they're a fucking hot take. Yeah.
Well, mate, there you go.
Mate, that is fucking spot on, by the way. Aye, because I just saw a clip of Justin Gaethje, Poirier on his show with fucking Jorge Masvidal. Where
what's that called again?
I can't fucking mind. It's on Paramount or something like that. Dean Thomas said to him, he goes like that, he says, does it still thing me a bit? Because that still gets me. And that was the other day he said that. I never fucking... mate, that's a fucking good shout, mate, by the way.
100%, because, mate, they were...
It was right. He was at the fucking... He was at the event getting interviewed saying things are kind of, it's up and down. And then they played that clip after it happened at the airport saying, look, he was at the UFC Freedom event and he was basically telling everybody he's not going through a good time now.
That's it, mate, because if you look at it this way, Dustin Poirier, mate, he's fought the who's who, he's beat everybody. Like, I've always said, mate, I would love to see Dustin Poirier. He must just live such a satisfied life. He can look back and show, I fought this person, I fought this. And mate, see, for him to just look back at the career he said, I thought that's enough for him. And he's done all these amazing things. And he's fought all of these really, really, some of them twice.
Elite guys, he's always fought fucking the top of the food chain.
He's never, ever been the undisputed champion of the world. And in his head, he was better than Justin Gaethje. He beat the shit out of Justin Gaethje the first fight. The second time, he'd get caught with a head kick, and then they were making it back the third time. And I just think to myself, I think Dustin Poirier took that dive because he was like, why him and no me?
That's a fucking good shout, by the way.
And that's what he was. I think that's what he was wanting for his career. And I don't think he
was always chasing it, and he just never got there. I
think he might be back.
I hope no, man. I hope no.
Nah, no. Because they had that big retirement fight and all that.
That was good, man.
They made a thing of it in his hometown. I think if he was to come back, it'd be a bit of a spit in the face.
I don't want to see Cowboy coming back either. Have you heard this? Cowboy's been trying to come back for the last couple of years after his fucking hair transplant. I'm like,
he's been on the roids big time.
But I know he's huge, but they're talking about because he has to get to like 50 fights or some shit like that, and it's like they've been talking about him for the last couple, and then they're talking about Jorge Masvidal coming back to the UFC as well, and it's like.
Is it these people getting hair transplants?
I know. They get hair transplants and want to keep fighting this.
Well, that's what half in the cage, man. Put Cerrone against Masvidal, man.
There you go. The hair versus hair match, like a WWE match, Give us a wee bit of knowledge here, mate, right? Educate my audience on Nico Carrillo, because one championship is something that's I have watched, sporadically stuff. I know you're a big fan of it, but I don't know how to watch it. I know it was on Amazon Prime. It's on at weird fucking times.
One Friday Night Fights every Friday. Well, I don't know if it's every Friday, but there's a thing called One Friday Night Fights, and I think that's where Nico came up through. So basically, see all these guys that are on fighting for a contract, they all fight on One Friday Night Fights, and I think you get a show money or whatever. And I think if you maybe say you get, like, you can win free, say, like, if you would own it and you win 3 really close decisions, it doesn't mean you could go in there and get 6 wins and still not get a contract. You need to impress them, and this is what this is for. So One Friday Night Fights, it's free live on One Championship YouTube channel.
It's on YouTube, right?
Every Friday.
Right.
As far as
who is Nico Carrillo?
Nico Carrillo is probably one of the baddest men that walk this planet, to be quite honest with you. He's running about this area, mate. He came for literally nothing. He went to I know he trained at Glasgow Thai Boxing Academy, mate, and I think he's a few years older than me, mate. I think he's maybe 3 years older than me. I remember when I was 14, mate, he was 17, mate, and he was making, mate, he took the fucking Muay Thai game by storm, man. Honestly, he was a workhorse, mate. Honestly, I've followed him on Instagram for a long, long time. He's coached JP as well. Him, Stevie, Alvin, and the 3 of them, mate, just crush it, man. And it's, mate, do you know what it is? It's just hard work. Aye. Honestly, mate, they work so hard, man. Like, Nico is just, he outworks everybody. And it just shows you, because even during lockdown, mate, a lot of fighters were chilling and doing this and doing that, mate. Nico was fucking putting mats out in the middle of a park, mate, rounds, and then ran up the Humphrey twice, mate, and fit in 28-degree heat and came back and done like 10 rounds in the pad, mate. He's just an absolute workhorse.
Explain to the audience what One Championship is. It's literally bigger than the UFC. It's the biggest fucking mixed martial arts organisation in the world. It's just that they're in Asia, aren't they?
They're in
primarily.
Asia, mate, so Nico probably can't even walk down the street.
He's a superstar out there, I guess, isn't he? Because he's got fucking...
Rushed, but he could probably walk up the city centre and have a handful of people. You know what I mean? So it's just One Championship. Don't get me wrong, mate. I only heard of One Championship when Ben Askren, when they traded Demetrius Johnson with Ben Askren. I'd be lying if I say to you, mate, that I sat and watched One Championship events religiously the same way I watch UFC. But the One Championship's basically like, I think here in Asia you get away with it a lot more. So basically, I think Demetrius Johnson, don't get me right, don't hang in on this because I might get the name wrong. Demetrius Johnson, I think it was Rodtang.
Right. I remember that.
I was talking to my wee cousin about this today. I think they done 1 round kickboxing, second round MMA or something, and then back to. So it was something like that. So I think because it's here in Asia, they get a lot of. Like, they can fight like 5 times in one night there. So it's like, I think that's why it's not really come out here. And it is dominantly an Asian kind of a promotion. But it hosts, I don't know if they're boxing. I think it's just kickboxing, Muay Thai, and MMA. And maybe grappling. I don't know, but
I think there is some grappling. I've seen it because I know that Tom DeBlaz I follow on Instagram and stuff, and he's a world famous jiu-jitsu guy, and they have him commentating on a lot of stuff. And I think there is a lot of jiu-jitsu thing, but I just never get to like properly see like pay-per-views or anything like that.
Aye, mate. So if you want to get into it, mate, definitely. Don't get me wrong. It's only Muay Thai. One Friday Night Fights, mate. That's where Nico came up for. That's where Steve Irving came up for, mate. Both of them are killing it right now.
And that's Muay Thai. Then he's no world champion.
So Nico is the world champion. He was the interim world. I think he was interim featherweight. He smashed everybody, man. Honestly, he fought this Turkish guy his first fight, and I'm pretty sure he broke his horn in the guy's face. And then he came back, mate, and he beat just all these people. But mate, there was a guy called he beat Nongo in Nongo, and he hit him with the elbow, and he just went flat. But Nico, he comes through all this adversity. He's so good. He's mentally solid. Like, I seen him. Me and Sean Paul, actually, we were sitting at a birthday party one night in a function, the Goodyear, and we were sitting there, and Sean Paul was like to me, "Oh, I'm watching Nico's fight. Do you want to watch it?" And he was fighting this guy called Mo Abdurrahman, and it was for a title, but I don't know what title it was for. This was probably like 4 years ago. And mate, this Mo guy is kicking the shit out Nico's legs. Like, didn't look good for him. Mate, before you know it, mate, Nico just bang, drops him, mate, and just put a name there. Nico's that guy, mate, who you think, oh fuck, and then he's like, nah, hold on a minute, watch this, and then he'll pull start him out the back pocket. It's similar to what he done with Nongo. I think he was having I don't know if it was normal, but he was having trouble. I think it was normal, and his legs were getting chopped, and then he just came back and he finished him. So his mental resilience, he does never gives up on his cellmate. He's a true inspiration, mate, to any young fighters in Scotland. Honestly, he's brilliant, mate.
Talking to that kind of resilience and kickboxing as well, a favourite of mine is Rico Verhoeven, who recently fought allegedly the greatest heavyweight ever. Did you watch that?
Did he box Tyson Fury? Am I tripping?
No, he used to spar. He used to spar him, but I'm saying Rico fought Usyk in front of the fucking...
Oh, Usyk, that's what I meant.
Aye, in front of the fucking... the pyramids.
He done well, didn't he?
Did you not see it?
Mate, I don't watch boxing.
Oh, fucking mate. Because I love Rico. He's ruled kickboxing, heavyweight kickboxing for what, 10 plus years. He's fucking giant. Oh, he's giant. He's gigantic. His workouts and shit like that on Instagram. That's how I kind of found him and stuff like years ago. He's a funny guy on Instagram, but he's a fucking absolute animal kickboxing. Mate, he beat him. He beat Alexander Usyk. As the end of that fight, you need to go watch that. It is perfect, dirty boxing politics, and it's boxing protecting boxing, because you've got an outsider coming in and fucking winning and beating.
It was similar with Francis Ngannou.
It was exactly like that. It's exactly like that. And it's boxing protecting their
aim.
aim.
My dad actually watched that up the stair, and my dad was like, "Oh, he's won that." And then Tyson Fury gets his arm raised, and I was like, oh, "Fuck that, man!" Like, I don't watch boxing, mate. No. It's
corrupt as fuck.
Aye, mate, I'm no really into that boxing, mate. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch I think all the mixed fist stuff's quite funny.
That is funny, that stuff. As soon as you get the fucking YouTubers and shit like that, I mean, there's a kind of attraction. No, there's an attraction to that. It's like watching, like, I don't know, like a circus kind of thing or something, like something daft, you know, but it's fair enough. You don't take it seriously, like you said, no, but...
Aye.
Where do you think that boxing is going to go now that Zuffa has flung their fucking hat into the ring with Dana White? And
they've spiced it up a wee bit. They've got Ryan Garcia fighting Conor Benn.
Aye, that's the last. That's the one.
That's a fight.
Aye.
That's
but
a fight.
What I've seen though is the problem is all the MMA fighters who are fighting for Uncle Dana are going, wait a minute, why are you paying that guy that fucking money and you're not paying us?
Well, why is he? Do you know what I mean?
Because that's what boxing dictates, isn't it?
Why is he? Mate, you've got these guys, you've got you've got all these MMA fighters, mate, and sometimes if you're no top 10 and you've no got hype behind you, mate, so these guys are getting 10. They're getting 10 grand to show up, and then they're getting 10 grand to win. So, mate, but then after you take away the taxes, they pay coaches, they pay push bills, they're probably left with about $2-3 grand, but...
Aye, dollars, aye, and then you have to convert that. How many times do you have to fight in a year to actually have an industrial wage out of that? You need to do other things.
Maybe like 3 or 4 types. Well, that's what I'm saying, mate. You get some of these people who is it? I seen a female ex, I think she was, I don't know her name, I think it was Alexa Grasso, maybe.
Oh, is it the OnlyFans or something?
No, she doesn't the OnlyFans, mate. She's got a wee bit more hangy than that. She's a delivery driver.
Oh, I seen that. Aye, I seen that. I did see that. Aye, she does fucking...
Mate, you were a world champion in the biggest in the biggest MMA promotion in the world. Why you shouldn't need to do that?
Why are you in the gig economy? Why are you fucking delivering packages? I know it was weird that. So but better she does that than fucking OnlyFans though.
Well, I suppose so, mate. But maybe she's just not getting the looks for it.
No.
You know what I mean? You've got, I think it's Mackenzie Dern opened up an OnlyFans.
Oh, it would fucking blow up.
She wouldn't need to fight anymore. Do you know what I mean? Paige Van Zandt, I think she does well on OnlyFans.
It's disgusting, mate. It's fucking disgusting.
Aye, mate, it's mad. It's mad.
Aye. Let's wrap up, Mick. Thank you, mate. This has been an absolute pleasure. I've loved chatting to you.
Mate.
But this is probably going to go long anyway, so... I always love to talk to the guests about the most important thing you could ever ask another person, and that is, what is your favourite movies and music? So, Giza, it doesn't have to be, fucking a perfect list. There's no such thing as guilty pleasures on this show. So, a favourite movie that you go back to, Giza?
Mate, I've got a film that I watch. It used to be once or twice a week. But now I've had to cut. It's actually a franchise. I'd say the last couple of years it's been classed as a franchise now.
Go. What is it? Scream. You're a big Scream fan.
I love Scream.
Is that right? Nice one.
I've got a Scream tattoo.
Show us. Let's see. Oh fuck, that's sexy. Oh, that's a cracker, mate. Fucking hell,
Scream tattoo on my leg, mate. I went and met the two original Ghostface killers in Manchester, Stu Macker and Billy Loomis. Also, they're played by Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich. So I'm a massive Scream fan, mate. I love it. I watched it since I was a wee boy. 1, 2, and 3 I used to watch, and then they brought out 4, 2010, and then they rebooted it in 2020. It was 2021 or 22 with Scream 5.
You're right, and fucking geek. Shut up.
They rebooted it with a new cast with Melissa Barrera and what's her name again? Who's that lassie who plays? She's in Wednesday.
Oh, I can't mind her name. Fucking, it's like Mexican.
Jenna Ortega.
That's it.
Jenna Ortega. You've got that, and then also brought out Scream 6, and then they kind of rebooted it again because Melissa Barrera got fired because she voiced her opinions on Palestine.
I heard about this, and then they just fucking.
So, mate, Scream is my favourite film in the world.
I love that.
Debate. Something that falls kind of behind it is the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi.
Oh, right. What's your favourite of that trilogy?
Has to be I don't know, man. I think the Green Goblin.
Nah, it's an easy. It's number 2. You can't. If you don't say number 2.
I was going to say the Green Goblin as a villain could take that because it was first, but mate, I personally think the second Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire is arguably the best superhero film of all time.
Well, Samaritan starring Stallone's the best superhero movie of all time, I'll have you know. But number 2 could be that. I would have that.
Stallone, didn't you?
Oh, of course I did. Let's fucking right here.
I've seen an interview with him. No, with him, but with his
lookalike. He's a guy. He's kind of pals with Stallone, which is weird. He texts him and shit like that. He was a cool guy, man. He does the official Rocky tour around Philadelphia. He takes you to all the filming locations and he dresses like him and fucking talks like him and all that, man. He's a crack guy. But mate, what do you think? See the Scream franchise then? Because I remember the first one coming out. I fucking loved it. I was a huge Wes Craven fan. I remember seeing it in the cinema, and it was people don't realise now how big that was at the time for the reason it was. It was like
completely
reinvented something that it was
into the horror genre.
Aye, by mocking it in a way. That's it.
Self-aware. Mate, Scream's just honestly the lore behind it. Like people say it's a horror film. I don't see it as a horror film. I feel like you could watch Scream 1 there and there again and keep finding new things. I know that because I've fucking done it. And mate, I just feel like the lore behind it goes so deep between the expand onto the Scream 3 and they talk about how obviously her mum was a bit of a girl back in the day and all that, and this is what's caused all these issues for her. Talking about how she went to disappeared to Hollywood and she was trying to make it in Hollywood, so that director John Milton, they done stuff to her, got her pregnant, she kind of abandoned the kid, and then the kid came back, basically asked her if she was who she was, and she says no, she's dead, she doesn't exist, and then he knew she lied, so he's kind of got video evidence of her fucking about with Billy Loomis's dad, then showed Billy, he's recruited Stu, and then they've went back and done the murders in 1997. Mate, it's just fucking brilliant, man, honestly.
I love it much, you love it, that's brilliant.
You see the fact that it's self-aware as well, mate, and it's like the first 3 are about her, but then the 4, 5, and 4 and 5 are basically about how these fans in the movie, do you know what I mean? And they're like actors, because they always do references, they're like, there's no been a good stab movie in this long, so then we are going out and killing, like we are going out and killing X, Y, and Z, so that they make
another movie.
They're directing against other mates. Madness, because they listen to Scream fans. Actually, the Scream kind of directors, they listen to the fans, and the Scream fans are moaning.
Who is it that's took over the franchise? Because I know I've been out of the loop.
Spyglass took it there for a while, but mate, this is what I'm saying. I want them to just leave it alone now.
Oh, there's too many now.
Leave it alone. I love Scream, mate. Scream 7 was brilliant, but Kevin Williamson came back, and there was so many. Right. So Kevin Williamson, he actually
fantastic writer. Fantastic writer.
He wrote the original Scream, and also Wes Craven directed all of them right up to 4. And then it was 2. I feel like it was 2 twins. It
was. I keep thinking it's the guys that done the Bad Boys movie, but I don't think it is. So
it was two brothers came back and done 5 and 6, and then when that stuff happened with Melissa Barrera, that all fell apart, and then Kevin Williamson's came back and basically says to Neve Campbell, because she was meant to be in Scream 6, but
there was money, which she's right about. She's right about. Well, she's the face of the franchise, arguably, So
apart from Ghostface yourself, Sidney Campbell, do you know what I mean? Scream's the best.
What do you make of the scary movies then? Do you like them?
Scary Movie 1, 2 and 3 were alright, but the rest were shit, mate.
Aye, no, I
Even that
bowed
last
it.
one,
Never
that
seen
last
it.
one was a joke, mate. I
Was
walked
it?
at the cinema, so I did.
Really? Did you walk out of that
I
one?
walked at the cinema, mate. I couldn't watch it.
That's
I
a
couldn't
great
watch
thing
it,
to say
mate.
there,
Made
by
an
the way.
absolute arse of it.
I want to know, what was the first film you ever saw in a cinema?
Spider-Man. I think it was Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man
Was it
2.
the first one? So it'd be 2001 or something, round about then, the early
Oh no, it
2000s?
wouldn't have been that because I was born in 2000, so it would have been Spider-Man. It'd been Spider-Man 2.
Was it? I think it was was
so.
that 2006 maybe?
No, Spider-Man 3 was 2007.
Was it? The Sandman one. I
going,
didn't mind that. People fucking hate on that. I didn't mind it. He was doing the daft dance and all that kind of shit. It was very comic booky anyway.
I think it was Mel's leaning down the comic book route, wasn't it?
It was fucking. I love Sam Raimi as a director. I think that's the perfect. That's the perfect marriage of director and material.
He's iconic eye shot, isn't it?
It is. It's the way he moves that camera. He's done it ever since The Evil Dead. See that tracking bodiless camera thing? It's fucking incredible, man.
I think one of the best scenes in a film, and there was a transition, and see when Spider-Man's swinging to fight Doc Ock, and you see him come out of the glasses.
Aye, that's phenomenal. Especially for that day and age, being able to do that as an effect and stuff, and it looks fucking still looks great now.
Aye, 100%, mate. Aye, so obviously Scream's up there, mate, and then obviously right under it, mate, is Spider-Man.
Are you into the rest of the comic book stuff, or is this Spider-Man?
Aye, mate, I love Marvel, man. I loved it. Did you see the new Spider-Man that came out?
No.
Did you know it?
Don't like comic book movies anymore. I get fucking had my fill of them. Had my fill of them. No, it's just, do you know what it was? I think it was, I didn't even like Endgame. See what I mean? I just thought they ended up it was too much. It was just too much. And then I just fell out. And then, because there was so much material there and all, was so much content where you had to watch the fucking TV shows and then that fed into the movies. Who's got the time to watch the Hawkeye TV show and the fucking...
I've not watched any of that.
And I love The Punisher, by the way. See the Punisher TV show with John Bernthal? I seen that. That was fucking phenomenal. Like that, and he's back.
Watching the Spider-Man, I think you'll like it, mate.
It was filmed in Glasgow, so I suppose I'll get to see it.
It's took it back to its roots, mate. It's one thing I didn't like about Tom Holland, the Spider-Man. Obviously it wasn't his fault, but I thought he's not been through it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, had everything, but it's when he's maybe had one of the worst. He's maybe been through it the most. He's obviously Tony Stark passed away. He's mental. His auntie.
Everybody forgot about who he is.
Everybody forgot who he was. Do you know what I mean? And then in this one, it's him basically trying to. Mate, it's good. So it is. It's really good.
First of all, but I forgot to ask you, who's your favourite character in the Scream franchise? Is your absolute favourite? Who's your favourite character?
Stu Marker.
Is it really?
Aye, Stu Marker.
Can we see a spoiler alert? Because I know he came back. Did they know?
He came back, mate, but he came back as AI.
Oh, is it AI?
I got talking to him afterwards, so I did.
Because that was who you met. He's a cool actor, man. I like him a lot. He's a really great actor.
He took time with everybody, so he did. I've got a stained Scream mask.
It's awesome, man. I've seen that on your Instagram.
Aye, mate. I've got speaking to him a bit. Skeet Ulrich, he was kind of more reserved, but he didn't really understand me.
Oh, really? I think it's because he got fat and ugly. He's used to being the good, handsome, fucking looking guy, and he's all fat and ugly now.
You don't realise how heavy the American accent is until you're actually in their presence. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So I mate, Scream franchise, Stu Marker, mate, 100%. Man,
you ever seen a film he was in called Dead Man's Curve?
No, I've seen Without a Paddle.
No, that's a comedy. This is like a kind of a thriller, kind of psychological dark thriller called Dead Man's Curve with Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard, mate, I love it.
He's brilliant in it.
Ghosts. That's good. Have you seen that?
What is that? 13 Ghosts? I like that. I like that.
Matthew Lillard's brilliant, man. So Stu Marker, mate, that final scene in the kitchen, mate, at the end is just... Mate, he should have won an Oscar for that. Honestly,
I fucking settled down, podcaster. Settled down.
He grabs you in, but and you're just like, wow, man. Like even
the
small details, man. It's like even when Sydney's like, to Billy, why are you doing this? And he's like, basically saying I've not got a motive for it. And then he turns round and basically Billy says to him, oh, you hear that? She's wanting a motive. And Stu just laughs because he thinks they're doing it just for something today. And then Billy turns around and tells Sydney, your mother basically broke up my family. She's the reason why my mother abandoned me. And then the camera pans to Stu and he's like, what? He didn't know why he was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So, mate, it's the lore behind it. There's all these wee hidden details in these films, mate, that people watch it and think it's just Ghostface for a bit and all that, which is true. And it's that, mate, the lore behind the films is brilliant, mate.
What about the TV show? Did you ever watch the TV show?
I did watch the TV show.
Was that any good?
I watched the first 2 seasons and then they ended it in a very, very good cliffhanger. And then I think something happened with I think it was the actors that were involved. I can't remember, something happened involving the studio, and it kind of rebooted again, and it was a shit, mate.
Really?
The TV show was alright, but
and
the woman who was actually, I can't remember her name, it was kind of a woman, she had the kind of a short black hair in it.
Right.
What's her name?
I've never seen it. I've never ever seen it. I just knew it existed.
There was a lot of them down there, down at Manchester, so there was.
Who else did you see down there? Was that like a horror con thing?
Aye, mate, it was a horror con. There was a lot of people there. There was the guy who played, see the guy who played the wee boy in Chucky? Alex Vincent?
No, I never liked the movies. They fucking scared me. I'm a shy bag. I couldn't watch horror movies growing up.
And then there was there was 2 killer clown brothers. They were there. There was the killer for Scream 6. He was there. He was also in.
Is that fucking Friends. Dermot Mulroney? Dermot Mulroney.
I haven't got a photo with him. There was Tatum for Scream. She was there. And then there was more people. There was a guy for the killer for Scream 7 that gets Carl. He's kind of like a killer that gets unmasked halfway through then.
Right.
Scream 7 is like kind of not really a ghost face killer, but mate, these events happen every year. I was supposed to go down to Manchester the October where I got my surgeries, and it never happened. And I've got Roger Jackson and all that down there, the guy who does Ghostface's
voice.
So mate, there's loads of
one of the best experiences I remember having in a cinema was when the third one came out, and me and a bunch of pals went to see a marathon of 1, 2, and then you go to see the premiere, the first people ever in the UK to see the third one. And
I've done anything to be
mate, listen, during there was cunts running about. There was cunts running about as Ghostface and all that, and fucking like stabbing you when you got to the toilet and all this, and for everything, for the whole thing, because it was the 3 movies back to back. And you were getting to Scream 3, and we're all fucking dying, man, because you're just it's like I don't know 5 in the morning at this point, and there's cunts still running about with Scream knives and popcorn going everywhere. Mate, it was an absolute blast. It was amazing. So it was, music. Let's get to music. What kind of music you listen to?
I like Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris is good.
For fuck's sake, right? Here's the thing, right? Every guest, I love every guest, right? He's absolutely phenomenal, but your music taste is up your hole. Every one of these are terrible.
I like, you probably wouldn't like, I'm Michael Jackson, mate.
It's even worse. You're getting worse. Because here's the problem, right? At the end of my show is very different for your show, right, Mick? Right. Because my show is, I believe to be, or I try to make it an entertainment show. And like I say, it's kind of modelled after like Opie and Anthony back in the day, a radio show, but more or less kind of like a David Letterman late night talk show, and it'd always end with a band singing a song. So instead of a band, I've, like we'd said, it's just fucking us that do this, so it's just me. So I hopefully try and get the guest to pick a halfway decent song, and then I sing the song at the end of it. I sing it. I sing it out on the end of the show.
Well, you're not going to sing Billie Jean for me then, no?
I'm a fuck. I can't go that high. So, right, you've got that's 2. What about decent stuff like Van Morrison?
Aye.
What?
Would you be here all night then? If you wanted to, you into loads of music, I take it?
No, really. I've listened to the same music since I was 18 years old, which is old, sad bastard music, and I've listened to that same fucking roster of people, which is Van Morrison, Bruce Springsteen, the band, Bob Dylan, Tom Waits.
I've only ever heard of Bob Dylan and all then.
Well, fucking, do you know what to do then? Open up your phone, have you your phone next to you? Open up your phone and go to Spotify and like ask the wee DJ or something like that, and I'll waffle for a wee bit here. So it has been an absolute pleasure having a podcaster on my podcast, mate. I've had the best time chatting to you. We're closing in on 2 hours, so I think it's a good idea to maybe chop this into 2 different episodes. And I'll try and, you know, I want to keep a lot of the wee podcasting mistakes where I forgot what I was talking about and stuff like that. And I want to keep all that in there, because it's all part of it, but it's all part of the thing, because like I say, I wasn't expecting to talk for 2 hours, and we covered everything that I wanted to get to, and we went just into so much detail, mate. I want to thank you so much for doing this and taking the time to do it. So
honestly, man,
hopefully you can help us out and end the show well, and you know, pick decent music, please. Your movie taste is fucking top tier. I mean, I can't argue with your movie taste. I couldn't argue with the last guest movie.
Right, my favourite song ever, right?
Right,
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Is it really? Well, I can do that then. I can go for that.
There you go.
Do you want the Bob Dylan version or do you want the Guns N' Roses version?
Mate, I'm not going to lie, I just looked at Bob Dylan, mate. Just named the first song.
Just
Bob Dylan version it is.
All right, well, do you know what I can do? I can maybe mix in the both, so there you go.
Right, okay.
Mate, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Mick. I appreciate you. Thank you so much,
Thank
mate.
you for having me on, Bob.
Right, man. See you soon.
See you after, my man. Cheers. Appreciate you.